In the summer of 1592, the finest navy in the Pacific went hunting along the southern coast of Korea. They had one method, and in living memory it had never failed them. Get close, grapple on, and flood the enemy's deck with swords. They were looking for one man and a rumour. A Korean commander who would not come out and fight properly, and a low, strange ship, its back covered over, that a few survivors swore they had seen. A few days later, most of that fleet was at the bottom of the sea. The Korean ships chasing them home had lost none. 5 months earlier, Japan had come for Korea, not to raid, to march through it and take Ming China beyond. 150,000 men landed in the south and moved north so fast the Korean king fled his own capital within weeks. But an army that size cannot eat off the land it burns. Everything, the rice, the powder, the replacements, had to come by sea, up the coast, around the peninsula, to the front. The invasion didn't run on swords, it ran on supply ships. And that is the one thing the Japanese plan could not protect: the water. Their admirals weren't worried. Their navy fought the way their armies did, the way that always won: pull alongside, throw the grappling hooks, and send the swordsmen across. A sea battle to them was a land battle that happened to be wet. The Korean court annals are blunt about how badly the war was going on land. The sea was the only place the tide had not yet turned, because down in the south, the supply fleets kept meeting the same problem. They kept not coming back. The problem had a name: Yi Sun-sin, commander of the left Choya Naval District, a man who had spent the years before the war doing the least glamorous thing a soldier can do: preparing for one nobly believed was coming. He had drilled his crews, he had stockpiled powder, and his ships were built for a completely different kind of fight than the enemy's. The Korean Panoxion was not built to grapple. It was a floating gun platform, a high, flat fighting deck over a stable hull ringed with heavy cannon. It did not want to get close. It wanted to stay at range and hammer. So while the Japanese sailed to board, Yi sailed to bombard. Two navies that had each decided in advance what a sea battle was. Only one of them was about to be proven right. And there was something else in Yi's line: a handful of low, covered ships, their fighting deck roofed over and studded with iron spikes so no one could leap down onto it. A dragon's head at the prow. The sailors called it the turtle ship. The enemy didn't have a name for it yet. They just knew it went where it wanted, and you could not get aboard it. Through the early summer, Yi went out again and again and won small. Each victory did the same quiet work. It told the Japanese command that this man had to be dealt with. They were being baited, and they did not know it. In the heat of that summer, a Japanese fleet of 73 ships, under a bold young commander, Wakizaka Yasuharu, pushed into the maze of islands off the south coast to end the Yi problem for good. He found them gathered in a place called the Gyeongneriang Strait, a narrow channel, cramped, shallow in places, walls of island on either side. And here is the first move, the one almost no one notices. Yi looked at that strait and refused to fight in it. Refusing the obvious fight is the hardest thing a commander can do. A court that had already lost its capital and watched its king flee was not in a forgiving mood, and a battle declined looks, from a throne, a great deal like a battle feared. He was spending trust he might not get back. A narrow channel was the enemy's water. Pack the ships in tight, and the Japanese could do exactly what they were good at: close the distance, grapple, swarm. His own cannon would have no room to maneuver. A trap, yes, but pointed the wrong way. So he sent in a small squadron, let them be seen, and had them turn and run. Bait. To the Japanese it looked like what they already believed. The Korean wouldn't stand. They gave chase, out of the narrow channel, into the open sea near a large island, Hansando. They thought they were chasing a frightened enemy into the open. They were being walked onto the one stretch of water Yi had chosen for them. Out in open water, the running Korean squadron did something a fleeing fleet does not do. It stopped and turned. On Yi's signal, the whole Korean line unfolded sideways into a wide curving arc, both ends sweeping forward, a formation his crews had drilled for exactly this. In Korean it was called hagikjin, the crane's wing. The packed Japanese ships sailed straight into the mouth of it, and the wing closed around them. Now the geometry belonged to Yi. His gun platform sat at range on three sides of a crowd of ships built to fight up close and open fire. Cannon, not arrows, was the heart of it. Heavy shot into hulls at a distance the Japanese could not cross fast enough. Every time they surged forward to grapple, they crossed open water under massed fire, and the water filled with broken timber. The Japanese were not outnumbered, they were outpositioned. The thing they did best, getting close, was the one thing the crane's wing would not let them do. And into the center of that closing arc went the shrouded ships. So what was it, really? Here the story has to slow down, because this is where legend has done the most damage. You will hear constantly that the turtle ship was the world's first ironclad, a ship plated in iron, centuries ahead of its time. There is no contemporary record that says so, not the court reports, not Yi's own war diary, which describes the ship he built. What the sources actually describe is a roof, a covered fighting deck set with iron spikes and blades, so that the one Japanese tactic, leaping down to board, met a bed of spikes instead of a deck. The iron-plated legend came later, from writers a full 3 centuries after the battle. The real turtle ship was something simpler and, honestly, smarter. A ship the enemy could not board, that could push into the heart of a formation, firing from every side, and not be swarmed for it. At Hansando, it did exactly that. It went where a normal ship could not, into the press, and broke the enemy's shape from the inside, while the crane's wing crushed it from the outside. How many there were that day, what every detail of its deck looked like, the sources don't fully agree. Some of the turtle ship stays shrouded even now. But the part that won the battle was never the mystery. It was the part hiding in plain sight. When the smoke cleared off Hansando, the count came in. Of the 73 ships that had chased Yi into the open, the great majority were destroyed or taken. Only a remnant slipped away in the confusion. Wakizaka himself barely escaped, and on the Korean side the losses were minimal, not one ship lost. But the number that mattered most wasn't counted in ships. Word reached the warlord directing the invasion, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and his order came back down the chain. Stop. Stop seeking out Yi Sun Shin. Do not give him another open battle. The most powerful man in Japan had just told his navy to avoid one Korean commander, and a navy that avoids battle cannot escort supply ships. The sea road north, the one the whole invasion ran on, was closing. On land, the war would grind on for years, but out here, in a single afternoon of open water, the invasion's engine had been broken. So, how do you destroy a fleet that outnumbers you and is built to swallow you whole? Not with a secret weapon, not with more ships. You refuse to fight the battle the enemy is good at. You choose the water. You make their strength, getting close, the very thing that kills them. The crane's wing was not magic, it was geometry and gunnery, and a commander who had decided years earlier what a sea battle was and made the enemy fight his. And the shrouded ship? Less than the legend, and more useful than it. Not an ironclad ahead of its time, a ship you simply could not board, in the hands of a man who knew precisely where to put it. This was Yi-Sun Sin at his height, the summer everything went right, which is what makes what happened to him 5 years later so hard to believe. Because the country he had just saved would arrest this man, torture him, and strip him of everything, and then, with the navy in ruins, beg him to come back with 13 ships. But that is another battle.